Ooh, knock at the cabin. Welcome to Mirror Domains, and this is my full, well, actually, we're going to be talking about spoilers for Knock at the Cabin, but your horror weekly roundup where we talk about all the big horror movie news headlines of the week, and this is on today's schedule. A lot of TV headlines that we'll get through, cancellations and what gets renewed. So there's some really cool stuff in there. We're going to get a Swamp Thing movie from maybe James Mangold. We'll have to take a look at that. Scream 6 has got a headline up there, and yeah, we'll get through these headlines, hopefully in the next hour or so. But we start off today's show by talking about Friday Nights at Freddy's. Yes, Friday Night at Freddy's has finally begun filming with its first behind-the-scenes image from Jason Blum. Okay, well, yeah, we knew that they were adapting this. We saw that they had started working on the creature effects for this, right? From the people who did the Muppets, right? Or at least that production house. It's not that much, guys. It's just the cameras, and you see the slate there, and the producer probably just holding it in there, getting ready to say, we're ready to go. Yeah. So, Friday nights, Five Nights at Freddy's. Sorry, Five Nights. No, I keep on saying Friday nights. I don't know why. Five Nights at Freddy's. And, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Hold on here. I'm just trying to draw. I'm drawing a blank here on who did them. The Henson Studios. Jim Henson Studios. There we go. I don't know why sometimes you try to think of something, and I should have had this all prepared and prepped, but yeah, there we go. Our first image, so it's underway. When is this supposed to be coming out? Well, IMDb says not. There's no release date yet, but a troubled security guard begins working at Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. While spending his first night on the job, he realizes the night shift at Freddy's won't be so easy to make it through. Emma Tammy is directing this. And it's going to have Matthew Lillard in it from Scream. Okay, that's cool. Josh Hutcherson from Hunger Games. Elizabeth Lail. Mary Stuart Masterson. Wow, we haven't seen her in a while. Female villain. It's going to have some kids in there, I guess. Well, because it's a pizza place, right? It's kind of like loosely based on the concept of Chuck E. Cheese, but like the killer robots in there come alive and start to kill people, right? Yeah. I don't think this, and that was revealed from Jason Blum himself, so it is official, right? It's official, right there. Five Nights at Freddy's. It's going to be sort of like that Willy's Wonka Playhouse or whatever it was with Nicolas Cage, where he doesn't say one bit of dialogue through the entire movie. Kind of like that. It was a little bit on the lower budget side too, right? But this won't be. Jason Blum. The animatronics, as I said, from Jim Henson Studios. So it should be good. They built this thing, right? So we're going to see that for sure. I never played the game, so I can't tell you what you should be expecting. But if you guys had, please let me know. Yeah, we'll keep our eyes out for that. Why not? Just one quick off the top story here that I do kind of want to get out of the way. Because we did talk about this during the week, and it is breaking news. Well, not breaking. It did break during the week, and that's the Boogeyman trailer. Because it just, I just reminded myself of it. We did a full reaction to it already, so that is up on the channel, and I would recommend that you go check that out because I liked what I saw. Okay, what are you doing there? For some reason, my YouTube page is just completely stalled. Okay. Boogeyman 20 trailer. Okay. Please don't stall. Yeah. So we looked at this trailer. I thought it was pretty good. This is coming out this year, July, right? So we're just going to get past some of the ads and then we'll take a look at it. I'm sorry, I should have had this prepared. I completely forgot about it. Forgot. And of course, it's going to have the long trailers in there. We're not going to watch it here because, as I said, it came out early. It came out like on Monday, right, or something. Stephen King adaptation. I know that it's been adapted before, but when I saw this is the young girl who played Leia in the Obi-Wan series, so I think we'll be in good hands with this movie. She rolls the orb underneath the bed and it lights up that monster that we see in the thumbnail there. So we're definitely going to see it. It's an entity. I don't know if that's his teeth or if those are his fingers holding his mouth or something. I guess maybe it's... So we are going to get a monster in this for sure. I think it's pretty cool. I dug the trailer. Just thought we'd just touch on that again here quickly. June 2nd is when this comes out, right? The Boogeyman. Yeah, we talked about that. That's why I didn't really want to talk too much about it today. Okay. Does tea go bad? I found like a really old box of orange pico. Doesn't smell all that great. Maybe I shouldn't drink this. Bummer. Yeah, I don't want to get sick or anything. They say that it doesn't, but okay, I'll try to. My voice is well. Did some recording of demos last night, and I really overdid it. Just my voice is fatigued, and I want to save as much as I can for our full movie reaction later on this afternoon. So I'm going to be talking in a little bit of a different tone, trying to reserve as much of it as I can so I don't blow it out completely. We are going to be talking about Knock at the Cabin. This is our time to talk about Knock at the Cabin spoilers. Let's go over to the Rotten Tomato first and see what people have said about it so far. So if you haven't seen this movie, guys, my non-reaction spoiler is up. My non-spoiler review is up. My straight out of the theater reaction review is up. My what is movie thing is up right now. So go check that out. 68%. So it's gone down. It's gone down by the critics, and it's hung around the same there for audience. I said this in my reviews. It's not for everybody because it is dealing with a little bit of a religious angle there, right? The apocalypse, doomsday scenario. Do you believe in visions and God and stuff like that? And we'll get into some spoilers here, but I just want to take a look at this first and take a cursory glance at what some of the snapshot reviews say. Chicago sometimes. Knock at the Cabin holds mystery and originality inside its walls. That's Richard Roper? That's all you're taking from him? Vanity Fair says the electric charge of the film when one pauses and thinks, wait, what is this movie saying, is grimly invigorating. Yeah, because it is grim. Because, well, you see it in the trailers that the four people with being led by Dave Bautista come to the cabin. They do the Knock at the Cabin. They're saying that, you got to sacrifice somebody that you love, or, the end of the world is going to happen. It's very on the nose that, yeah, they're supposed to represent the four horsemen of the apocalypse, right? But it's kind of like, are they telling the truth or are they delusional? And I think the movie does a good job of playing both sides of it. And it's not really definitive if they are or not. Because, yeah, there are some tragic things that happen within the TV news reporting thing that suggests that they were telling the truth. But what if they weren't? Right? Yeah, we'll get into some spoilers here for sure. Let's take a look at a bad review here first and see what people are saying, why they didn't like this. Although some of the movie's changes were inevitable and the book is hardly some sacrosanct masterwork, the disruption of the story's final act makes the movie feel incoherent at best. So I guess there are differences from the book from what I understood. I only know of one big change, and we'll talk about that in a few moments. Doug Walker weighs in. He didn't like it. The acting pulls most of it through, but by the end it comes across as a little underwhelming. And I respect Doug Walker. You know, the Doug, good channel. I trust his reviews. I trust his insights too. As I said in my initial reaction and in my reviews, Dave Bautista is the real standout. And I said, this is the opening scene when he comes up and meets Wen. It's just them talking about capturing butterflies. It's very foreshadowing, and just the way that Bautista comes across, his dialogue. It really worked for me. It did. So, yeah, it's just two people talking, and I dug it. I dug Knock at the Cabin, guys. And the more I'm thinking about it, I want to go back in now that I know my answers to it. I want to see it from my angle of how true it holds. We know that Shyamalan likes to do that stuff, right? Especially back from like even The Sixth Sense, where if you, now that you go have the information from the end, you can go back and watch it again and look for all the little clues in there and stuff like that. So it's sort of like that. Let's get the brass tacks out of the way first. The big question, are they telling the truth or are they not? Because the movie kind of leaves it suggesting that they were telling the truth. Now, I like to believe that there's still a little bit of, there's not concrete evidence that they were telling the truth. Yes, there was the big wave. Yes, there was a pandemic that was happening. And yes, there was like an electromagnetic pulse that hit the earth that caused the planes to fall out of the sky. I still would have been in that situation, have been like asking pertinent questions. Okay, all right, you're telling me that the world's going to die, the world's going to end, and the biggest criticism is that if they don't make a sacrifice, then they got to slowly start killing each other, and we see that sort of start to play out in the trailer, right? There's Rupert Grint there. He's the first one to go, so he's like, you got to make a sacrifice. You got to kill somebody that you love, and we can't decide for you. You have to do it on your own. So the parents here of Wen have to make a decision, and they got to make a sacrifice regardless. So they got to kill off one of themselves each time that they don't make a choice. Now, once that happens, they turn on the TV and they watch events unfold, and Leonard is Dave Bautista's character, keeps on looking at his watch, and one of the guys, one of the parents is like, well, you're always looking at your watch. You know that this was timing. You knew that this was going to happen anyway. So that's what I'm talking about, them laying the groundwork that, yeah, some of these events were already predetermined, that they already knew that that was going to happen. So that's the angle that they were using. Were they telling the truth or were they not? So it's still possible that I still believe that maybe they weren't telling the truth, because they never give us a clear, they tell us that they saw these visions, but we never really do see one of their visions. We never see them come together and talk and meet with each other the first time before they come to the cabin, right? They said they met on a message board and stuff, but I'm kind of like, well, yeah, maybe they are suffering from some kind of delusional state. I thought it was very effective in that nature. Is this a trailer or is this a teaser? I thought they showed an image here of one of them with the hat on, with the white thing, because every time that they have to make a sacrifice, they put a white thing on their face, and I guess that's not okay. Maybe it's in the second trailer, because they actually show a glimpse of what one of the parents sees behind Rupert Grint in the trailer, and I was actually kind of shocked that they showed that, because this parent here says that, yeah, I saw something behind him here when they were getting ready to sacrifice him. Yeah, see, there's light here. Now, if I freeze frame this, I think he actually shows it in the trailer, which is, I was shocked when I saw this. because they mentioned this. Yeah, see right there. There's a figure there. There's like a, I don't know, was that supposed to be like the Grim Reaper or something? Death, and they kind of changed what they were, because was it in scripture the horsemen were pestilence, fear, death, and what was the other one? Famine, right? So they kind of changed it up a little bit, or maybe they're just using a different mythos for the four horsemen of the apocalypse. I mean, it's totally possible too. But yeah, one of the criticisms that I saw was that you don't feel anything for these guys when they start to kill themselves, right? Like you can tell that Rupert Grint was scared to do it because he says, "Yeah, I'm scared," and you can see like he did a good job of betraying that fear. We just don't feel that for them, right? And when this one here, when it's her turn, and she's like, "I have got a son. Please make a decision so you can save my son." I could see someone saying that, yeah, you don't really feel for them, but that's because you're still having it up in your head. Are they telling the truth or not? I guess maybe this is sort of concrete evidence that's leading towards that, yes, they were telling the truth. And Leonard goes out like a boss. He does. Easily my favorite Dave Bautista performance, hands down. And he's truly becoming one of my favorite actors, watching what he's doing and stuff like that on screen, for sure. Okay, so I said in my What Is movie video, what would you do in that situation? What would you do in that situation? So here's what I would do. And this is where it's kind of frustrating for some people because, yeah, it does ask some questions. Okay, who gave you these visions? How did you see this information? What did you see? What happens if I don't make the decision by a certain amount of time? How much longer after the time frame happens do we get punishment? And what happens if you don't kill one of you? Like, what happens if you four just stay here and we'll just, let the chips fall where they may? You're going to die anyway, so what does it matter if you kill one another now or you die in the rapture, right? What does that matter? Because you're trying to convince us these four are yeah, they've committed their lives, they devoted their lives to convincing that these three should have to make the sacrifice to kill one of them, right? They've come to that understanding. So maybe you shouldn't feel anything for them when they die, right? Maybe you shouldn't feel anything for their pleas. And I, throughout the film, was feeling at times where it's kind of like, okay, well, show me what happens. How did you get this information? I need concrete I need concrete proof that these events are going to happen. I need to know everything. And maybe then I'll begin to trust you, right? Because they come to the cabin with that very open thing, like, we don't want to be here. We have to do this anyway. Please let us in, or we have to break in, which they do. So it starts off with that angle of it being kind of like a home invasion, and it's kind of like, okay, I buy that. I buy it. But it's kind of like you have all these other questions, right? These kind of like logical things, like, show me proof. Tell me why I need to believe in you. And the movie itself doesn't really show us that, other than you have to go on their faith, that they believe it to be true, right? And they try to show it, but it's kind of like, okay, they're trying to act like, yeah, we want to work with you. We want to work with you and making you try to believe this so that you can believe us and make the sacrifice, maybe save some of us. But you're not showing me a whole lot of evidence other than what you're putting on the TV, right? And I don't know how else they could have done that. Because you really can't. And I guess that's a moral question, right? And what would I do? Throughout the entire thing is that, some parents, like, say you're walking in the woods and with your child, and you see like a bear or something, right? The response is to make sure that the kid gets to safety, and whatever happens to you, it becomes secondary, right? There's that response in people where it's like, it doesn't matter what happens to me as long as you get safe mentality. We don't address that here too much. The parents, yeah, they do care for when. We do get that storyline, but we don't get that response of, well, yeah, okay, you guys are telling the truth, and one of us is going to die. It's going to be me. Don't worry about it. You don't see one of them step up and say, don't worry about feeling bad or anything like that. I know that I can't kill myself, and you're going to have to do it, but I'm going to help you walk through it, and it's going to be okay, right? But that's just me. That's me, right? Because I feel like that's the kind of person that I would be. I'd just be like, okay, somebody's got to die to save the world. It's going to be me, because I don't want to talk about it. That's just the way it's going to be. That's just the way that it has to be. That's my nature, right? I'll make the sacrifice, but I can see that would rub people the wrong way. I do want to briefly touch on the parents' angle here. Let's see if I can pull up a good angle here. Yeah, there's that animalistic thing that I was talking about, because they are parents, right? Let's talk about the same-sex couple here that they do use effectively in this, right? Because they do try to play the angle that one of them is a bigot, and they're just trying to torture them. So they play into that, and I didn't mind that. I know that some people out there who are in perhaps the United States or in some other country where that's illegal would look at this and say that it's blasphemy and stuff. I don't care about that stuff, guys. Hey, it's all growing pains, right? If you believe that this is a bad thing and a terrible thing, a slight against God, then you don't understand the religion itself, and you still got a lot of growing to do. They're just two loving parents, and I had nothing wrong with it. I didn't feel like it was in your face. They used the tropes of them being persecuted in the past. They used that in the movie. I didn't have any problems with it, and I believe that they loved each other. I'm not like the ending when he's kind of like walking them through, like something that I would do, of a memory of these two being older, and him still being around for when. I got very emotional actually thinking about that, because he was just walking it through his mind that, when she's older, you get to be there, you get to see her graduate from college, you get to meet her boyfriend or whatever, and you get to do that. And I'm living in that memory right now. I'm there, and for me, that was poetry. I love that moment. That was a very good moment, actually. I thought it was effective. Yeah. So, I think that's pretty much all I got to say for spoilers. I know that there's probably more. Byford the Hobbit in live chat says, hey, how's it going? Let's talk about that big difference from the book, because I did learn about it yesterday, too. Knock at the Cabin star Ben Aldridge talks his big screen breakout and the relief of not shooting a tragic book moment. So, I never read the book, but apparently it has a much darker ending. And I don't know if that ending would have worked for this movie, because it's a lot more. I don't know how it would have worked, because I guess she does get out at one point in the movie, but I guess Wen gets away at one moment in the book, and she dies, and it's not a sacrifice apparently, from what I heard, and it has to be a sacrifice. And I don't know if that would have worked in this movie. That would have been too much, I think, for most people. That would have instantly turned people off, because they were working on the parent daughter relationship there, that he would do anything for her, right? And I guess maybe that's what makes it pay off so much at the end, when he's like, uh, making the sacrifice, choosing to make that sacrifice, right? If they both, like if two of them died and only one survived, while as horrific as that would have been, it would have been very much like The Mist, like the ending of The Mist, right? It just leaves you hollow and you're just shocked. And I really love The Mist. I think it's one of the better Stephen King adaptations, but it's so raw that it turns people away from it, right? And if they did that in this movie, which they could have easily done, if Wen died, I think you would have had that response, right? But if they did that, I would have needed definitive proof that they did avert the apocalypse. I needed concrete proof that the apocalypse was going to happen, because I'm still convinced that towards the end, those events were going to happen anyway, right? There's still that question of free choice and determinism in my mind, where it's like, well, it's going to happen anyway. We can't stop the future from happening. We're here for the ride. That's the way that I believe life works. That we have a start date and an end date, and life is everything in between, right? And you can't change it. You can't change the past. You can't change the future anymore, right? Then you could the past. We're just here, and you got to experience it, and you can learn to relish it and learn from the mistakes, triumph from the mistakes, all the terrible things that happen to you in your life. You can grow and rise above that. And those are the things and the events in your life that make you who you are. Sorry if I'm getting a little deep there, but it's just, that's the way that I feel. And we sort of gloss over that stuff in this movie, right? The free will, determinism kind of thing. Like, they're doing it by their free will, but they also believe that it's determined that the apocalypse is going to happen. Well, if those events were going to happen anyway, you know that you were going to die there anyway. So, yeah, why are you scared then? Well, I guess death is still has that natural response, but it's kind of like that question. Those events were going to happen anyway. You knew that I was going to make the sacrifice anyway. So, we still have to play out the events? I don't know. All right, I'm rambling on here, and I'm going on with my spoiler discussion here. But I like this movie, and I still, as of now, and we're still only in February, it's my favorite movie of the year so far, for sure. And a lot of that has to do with Dave Bautista, and well, these two actresses do well too. I like the small scenario of it. Knock at the Cabin, guys. Have you seen it? Let me know what you thought about it in the comments below, and what do you think about some of those spoilers? What worked for you and what didn't? Yeah, and we'll get back into the movie news stuff here. What else can you find here on the channel? Mirror Domains. Yeah, I don't think that tea is very good. It's not sitting very well. I just had the smallest of sip from this old tea. I'm going to have to throw out those old bags. Yeah. Okay. What else can you find here on Mirror Domains? Well, we're going to be doing a full live watch along for a movie in about an hour and a half. But let's talk about what else you can find on the channel here. Well, we do our weekly schedule gets posted on Sundays, guys. So you'll be able to look at next week's schedule tomorrow. On Mondays, we do a watch along for The Last of Us, episode 4 on Monday. I'm looking forward to that. I'm really looking forward to that. On Tuesdays, we do a catch-up movie day from like the previous year. Last week, we did All Quiet on the Western Front. That's a haunting movie. That very sharp, and it's nominated for a bunch of Oscars. I totally understand why now. Wednesdays is our franchise movie day, so Wednesdays is we're doing Scream. We're going to watch all the Scream movies all the way up to Scream 6 coming out in March. Thursday was our retro movie day, and we did the 1990s Candyman movie with Tony Todd. Wow, we had lots of fun with that. We did. Those retro movies are decided by polls that we put up on the channel. So next week, right now, you can go to the community tab on Mirror Domains and you can vote for Total Recall, The Fifth Element, or Starship Troopers. So the way that the polls work, guys, is that obviously we watch the winner. So one pick will be off from that, and then we drop the weakest vote. So the middle of the road option will stick around for a week, right? It'll get another shot to get in there, and then I'll put in another option for our tier that loses out, right? And don't worry, sometimes these will get recycled. So at 1:30, there's a poll up on the channel right now for either Malignant, Candyman, or The Conjuring 3. And don't worry about Candyman, guys. I think we're going to fit in Candyman somewhere along the lines here this weekend. Maybe tomorrow morning, like early in the morning, we'll watch Candyman. And it's not going to be advertised or anything like that, because I do want to get that, because it does seem like Malignant has won out in the poll. It's only like an hour left in the poll, and it looks like we are going to get Malignant there, guys. We're going to have fun with that one. Malignant, James Wan, really crazy film. Truly indeed. As you know, we do Horror Weekly on the weekends there and stuff like that. We do movie news, normal movie news headlines, Monday and Fridays, and a little bit there on Wednesdays. It's all in that community tab, in that post on Sundays, that schedule. You can go check that out. Okay, let's get back into some headlines here as we go through this. Scream 6. Yes, as I said, we're watching all the Scream movies up to Scream 6 in March. So, there's a Scream 6 theory that Kirby is taking Sidney's role from the original script. Yeah, Neve Campbell was supposed to come back. Well, they always are going to have Sidney as a possibility in there, but Neve Campbell said, no, well, I'm done with it. You're not paying me the amount and stuff like that I feel like I've earned to be in those movies. And she doesn't need to be there. I know that some people say that you can't have a Scream movie without her in it, but I think the last movie, Scream 5, did a great job of, passing the torch. It really did. And I want Sidney to go off and live happily ever after. We don't need to see, like, when she's 60 years old, all of a sudden, like a ghost face pop up and kill her, right? Some distant relative of Billy or Stu comes and has his vengeance. It's kind of like, no, we don't need to see that. Just let her have the happily ever after storyline. That's the way that I feel. Because just bringing her back for the sake of it, it doesn't work anymore. And this article says, well, maybe Kirby was taking that role in the original script, because the guys who did Scream 5 wrote the script for 5 and 6. So it just makes a little bit of sense here that, yeah, okay, well, if she's not going to be there, then maybe Kirby's playing that role. I don't know, because it's kind of like speculation. We'll have to wait and see. But I'm looking forward to it, because Hayden Panettiere, I think she's stunning. I like Kirby, and we'll talk about, yeah, there she is from number 4. When we watch number 4, you guys will, just every time that she's on the screen, it's like, okay. And she really resonated with fans, so I probably expect her to die in this movie too, because she got run through pretty badly in number 4, right? We'll have to see. Sorry, spoiler alert. But yeah, hey, you're making a movie called Stab. People got stabbed. So we'll have to keep our eye out when we go see Scream 6 next month. And every time that I see her on the screen, it's going to be kind of like, could her role have been for Neve Campbell? Maybe. I don't know. It's just a curious thing that I thought we would take a look at. Swamp Thing. Yes, we're getting a new Swamp Thing movie. And this was announced in James Gunn's DC slate earlier this week, because it's going to be part of Chapter 1, the Swamp Thing movie. And it just so happens that James Mangold, the director of the Logan film and Wolverine, and Indiana Jones 5, is in talks to direct a Swamp Thing horror movie. Okay. Well, that's cool. He's in talks. It's nothing confirmed yet, guys. But Swamp Thing, I think it works better as a movie instead of a series. I know that as a series, it'll open the door for longer form storytelling and developing characters more. But I think I think you need to have it as a movie to at least get people's interest in it, right? James Mangold, that's a name that I think people would trust to handle something like this. I'm just like, yeah, out of all the stuff that came out of the DC stuff, as a horror fan, yeah, I could be up for a Swamp Thing movie. Why not? We'll have to see how that story develops as it comes along. What do you guys think about that? Do you want to see a Swamp Thing from James Mangold? We'll have to see what he does with the Indiana Jones. He did great things with the Logan character in Logan, and I hope that he does good things with Harrison Ford as Indiana Jones. So, James Mangold, yeah, I'll be up for that. Tatiana Maslany is somebody that I really enjoyed from She-Hulk last year. We watched She-Hulk here on the channel. Tatiana Maslany and Jasmine Savoy Brown unite for horror film Green Bank. Now, Jasmine Savoy Brown she's going to be in Scream 6 because she was also in Scream 5, right? She was one of the survivors. But Tatiana is awesome in my books. You watch all of those behind the scenes stuff of her dancing around and stuff like that, playing on the set of She-Hulk. She really liked that character, and she was awesome in it. She's the main reason why I would tell you to go watch that series. We had fun with it. So what is this Green Bank all about? Well, according to the plot description, Green Bank is set in a real American town where Wi-Fi and cell service and all other radio transmissions are heavily forbidden. The film follows infant sleep trainer Sloane, who realizes that the parents of the child she's caring for are much more than clueless yuppies they seem to be. Much more than the clueless yuppies. So there's something more sinister there blocking out all the transmissions? So is it kind of like a demon baby? It's possible. Wall-to-wall, fright-filled fun led by fiercely talented cast hailing from what? Scream Queen. Yeah, she was in Mindy. She was Mindy. She was one of the survivors. She reenacted that scene from Randy in the first one, where she's on the couch saying, "Look behind you, look behind you," and we'll have fun with that when we watch Scream 5, for sure. I'll connect all the dots for you guys when we watch these movies together. Cool, Green Bank. Keep my eye out for that. Earlier this week, we talked about this in our normal movie news headlines that, Zach Cregger, who directed Barbarian, Companion, mysterious new horror movie. Okay, Zach Cregger, yeah. There was that bidding war for Weapons, his movie Weapons, that all happened this week. Basically, his next movie went up for a bidding war. All the studios were trying to get, the rights to distribute it and make it for him and stuff like that, because Barbarian resonated with a lot of people, and we'll talk about some of the fallout of that too. Zach Cregger's latest project is Companion, a horror thriller marking the directorial debut of Drew Hancock. So this is just one that he's producing, who has also penned the script. Plot details are under wrap, but like Weapons, Companion is a fast tracking for production this year. Well, yeah, when you have a hit like Barbarian, of course that's going to happen for Zach Cregger. But that other thing with Weapons was, we heard that Jordan Peele was part of that bidding process and he lost out. So he fired his entire managing team because of that. Jordan Peele really wanted to get in bed with Zach Cregger and make his next movie Weapons. And it cost, I guess, because that management team was supposed to be out reading scripts and finding this kind of material. I don't know. Is that really fireable offense, though? But Jordan Peele, yeah, he wasn't too very happy about it. Just something that we should take note of. Let's get into some TV headlines. Talking about Jordan Peele here. Paramount Plus has removed the Twilight Zone reboot from its streaming service. Paramount Plus. What's happening here, guys? A lot of stuff is getting removed. And like, I mean, just completely taken off the slate like it never existed. And that sucks. That sucks. What does it cost you to keep it? I don't understand it. For tax write-down purposes. Now, that should never, ever be a consideration for studios. Like, ever since the whole Batgirl fallout, I don't believe in that stuff. I don't believe that you should get a tax write-off and just bury a project. It should be made so that you have the intentions of trying to make whatever little revenue you can from it instead of having a write-off on it. It shouldn't be set up like that. Even though that the movie sucks and it's supposed to be unreleasable, I still want to see these projects. And burying stuff like the Twilight Zone sucks, man. It's like, why? I don't understand it. Another casualty in this removing of services. Showtime removes Let the Right One In. Is it possible that this is just part of the merger between some of these streaming platforms where they don't have the rights for it, so it'll cost too much to transfer rights, and it just makes more sense for them just to erase it? It's just, I feel bad for the fans, because we're the fans, right? We're the ones that go out and watch these things. We're the ones that, build up the fan base and say, hey, I like this little thing about it and I want to see more of it. So it sucks that it happens. It does. Sorry, I just need to wet my whistle, and I know that tea's probably not the best, but whatever. More TV headlines. Apart from cancellations, there are some renewals, though, so there are some good headlines. Anne Rice's Mayfair Witches, we saw this week too, got renewed for season 2. Alexandra Daddario, with her big blue eyes. Mayfair Witches season 2. I watched the pilot for it. I had keyed up and recorded on my TV episode 2. I just never got around to it. As I said, it was a bit jarring with the time jumps. There's like an older version of her character and a younger version, and we jump in between the timelines like that. And I was kind of like, it's an interesting premise. She's a neurosurgeon who's got magical powers and stuff like that. She comes from a lineage of witches and stuff like that. Guess there's a season 2. People are liking it on AMC. Okay. What else is out there in the headlines? Twisted Metal Peacock TV adaptation teased for this year. I'm looking forward to the Twisted Metal series with Anthony Mackie, right? Because I played the game. I grew up with the game, playing on a PlayStation 1 with my buddy, Ming. And yeah, we had lots of fun playing that game. It's like a, what do you call it? Destruction derby or whatever. But like, yeah, you're in cars and you try to blow each other up and stuff like that. Sweet Tooth. This is Sweet Tooth. I looked up what this possible tease was on their this is not, that's from the game. That's not from their tease. Their tease is just somebody inside one of the PlayStation buildings. They're in an elevator that says Gran Turismo. It opens and you see a Last of Us poster. And apparently around the corner, there's a sign for Twisted Metal. But do we see it? No. So I was kind of like, well, then what's the point of running with this headline? It just piqued my interest. We know that it's coming. We know that it's in the works. So a Twisted Metal series, I think is going to, yeah, it's on Peacock. I'll be looking for it. I'll be checking it out. Last night I was just scrolling through Netflix and I saw this movie being advertised called Viking Wolf. And it's a Norwegian werewolf movie, but apparently it has a weak bite. Interesting premise. And I was like this close to watching it, but I was a little too tired. And I was like, well, if I'm going to watch it, maybe I'll watch it with you guys. But Viking Wolf, werewolf movie, apparently is not being very well received. Maybe I can pull up that on my Netflix. Let me open up my Netflix panel and I'll see what it's if it's ranking in this search for movies in Canada. No. Oh, no, it is. It's number 5, Viking Wolf, and that's how I knew about it. It's only an hour and 36 minutes, so we could blow through this one. Viking Wolf was okay, but I liked it, says Bifer. Okay, so maybe I will check it out. Maybe it'll just be one of those things where I'll watch it by myself and I'll just give you guys like a quick little review for it. Because I'm thinking I'm going to have to do that with a lot of things. Because while I have Crave HBO here, I have access to things like White Lotus and Euphoria. And I'm just sitting on my hands here. I should be watching it. But I'm like, I should be watching it with you guys, but I hear Euphoria's got like lots of nudity and stuff in it, so we can't maybe watch that with live. It's one of those things. Maybe I'll save a day next weekend for Euphoria to be kind of like, you know how I did my reviews for Queen's Gambit? It'll be just like that. Every episode I'll just turn on the camera and give you guys my thoughts, just quickly like that. I'll burn through it. Yeah. Just to let you know that I saw it. Viking Wolf. Byford Hobbit says it's better than You People. Okay, well, good. You People is while Knock at the Cabin is my favorite movie of the year, You People is is my least favorite movie of this year. Yeah. Okay. Talking about werewolves, we got something for Blackout. Blackout poster unleashed. Larry Fessenden werewolf movie. Okay. What's this about? Blackout. Werewolf film. It's currently in post-production. Got a first teaser poster. The film follows fine arts painter convinced he is a werewolf, wreaking havoc on a small American town every full moon. So he's a bit of a loon, is what you're saying, right? He's an artist. He's not a killer. He makes art until someone dies. So as a teaser poster, okay, I like the aesthetic. It doesn't really show us that much. I mean, it's a teaser poster, right? Werewolves. Seems very topical right now. Indeed. Okay. More various headlines. Terrifier 2. Director Damien Leone teases an upcoming horror movie with Sam Raimi's Ghost House Pictures. And he is working on the script for Terrifier 3. He tells in an insider this week that there's an original project I have development with Ghost House Pictures, which is Sam Raimi's production company. So if that happens, that would be amazing, he adds. I'm really hoping that could happen before Terrifier 3, or it might happen right after. We'll see. So we'll have to see how that fits in the schedule. I still need to see Terrifier 2. I know that it's something that we probably can't do a full live watch-along for because of the graphic nature behind it. As far as the blood and gore and stuff like that, YouTube really doesn't have too much of a problem with that stuff. It's when it comes like to the nudity and stuff like that. You can't have it. Can't have it, right? But I like and I appreciate Terrifier for its not holding back any of the punches, right? And he says here that, yeah, he's writing Terrifier 3 as we speak. I definitely want to make it at least. I definitely want to make at least one more. There may be two to tell this story and tackle the ideas that I have in my head. 2, okay. Art the Clown and the Pale Girl. Victoria, certainly Sienna, our final girl, will be following her journey at the end for this franchise. Okay. Art the Clown is his stock in the realm of horror killers and monsters is going way up there, isn't it? Bye for the Hobbit. Check out this brand new cast from The Locksmith 2023 date, released Friday 2. It was released today. Okay, let me just take a look here. Is that on Netflix too? Something about that seems familiar. Oh no! Yeah, I saw a headline for this too. The Ryan Phillippe and Kate Bosworth. Yeah. Good cast. I like Ryan Phillippe. Kate Bosworth, I really do like. Ving Rhames, always cool. What's it about? It's about a thief fresh out of prison tries to work his way back uh, into the life of his daughter and ex-fiancée. Determined he is forced to use the skills he has as a gifted locksmith. Things take a tumultuous turn after an unexpected disappearance. Okay, very interesting premise. Released this Friday. Is that on Netflix? Let me just take a look. No. Does sound familiar. One final last headline here, guys, and we'll get out of here. I'm not going to do, well, no, I'm not going to do the Joblo rundown. Actor, stuntman, Michael Myers performer George B. Wilbur has passed away this week. That sucks. Well, he was 81 years old, so he did have a good run. As I said, anything after 80, it's just icing on the cake, right? You got to count your blessings after 80, because it could be any day that the piper will come calling, right? The expectation to live into your like mid 90s is a little bit unrealistic for some people. Well, actually, for most people, right? Because it is what it is. It happens. So he was Michael Myers in number 4 and number 6, and he's passed on. I like number 4. I did. I didn't like. It was one of my least favorite Michael Myers masks because that was one of the masks where they put mesh over the eyes, so it was black. That was a director's choice. I didn't agree with. I liked it when it was just cutouts and you could still see some of the eyes in certain lights. You could see the eyes behind it. Yeah, it was my least favorite mask. Bummer. Well, it does happen. That's life. That's life. So just looking at the poll here for our movie. Yeah, Malignant won. Malignant won. So, but if Conjuring 3 and Candyman tie, and we watch Candyman anyway tomorrow, maybe Conjuring 3 will stay on there for next week's poll. Yeah, so I'll open up the door. I'll entertain ideas. If you guys have horror movies next Saturday that you would like to check out, let me know in the comment section. And I'll put it in the poll. The poll for next Saturday's horror movie will be up probably tomorrow. Yeah. So Malignant it is. We'll be watching Malignant. The time frame has already been slotted for the channel. I'll just switch over the thumbnail and update the metadata. And we'll get underway watching Malignant at 1 p.m. today. I'm going to have my breakfast now. And yeah, we'll get this underway. I'm looking forward to it. Malignant, it's a really creepy movie, man. It's really funky. That's the way that it's been this week in the realm of horror and entertainment news. I know that there are smaller headlines out there for smaller projects, but we hit all of the big major ones. I hope you like this stuff, guys. This is part of a playlist you can follow up in the cards. I would have done the Joblo rundown, but that would have just covered most of the story headlines that we hit anyway. So, and as I said, I'm going to try to rest my voice as much as I can so we can watch Malignant. And if not, enjoy the rest of your weekend. Go out and see Knock at the Cabin. Tell me what you thought about it in the comments after you've seen it, and we can talk about some of the spoilers. And do you agree with me or not? Okay, that's it. I'll see you next time on Mirror Domains.